All right, guys, welcome back to today's ammo count. I'm your host, Master Sergeant Pexo. Is military pay enough? I believe it is. Let's take a look at the enlisted pay scale. I want to point out a couple things. Looking at the 2026 pay scale, E1, 2 years or less, base pay, 22.25 per month. E1 is 2407 per month. E3, 28.36 per month. And then E4 is 31.42 per month. All right. In actual dollars, it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but you can make it work, guys. Okay, so if you're fresh out of high school or some college, you'll probably find yourself in this range of pay for the first few years in your military service. As I mentioned in my last video, I started out basic training a few weeks after I graduated high school. From my perspective, my paycheck was the most money I'd ever had. And this was in mid 1995. I was 18 years old and I was getting paid. So I wanted to take a look at one of my original LESs. I couldn't find one while I was Airman Basic, but I did find one from when I was E2 Airman. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to pull it up here and we'll talk about it because it's pretty eye-opening what we were getting paid. And this was 30 years ago. Let's see what the numbers say, right? So I'm going to put this on the screen so we can take a look at it and we'll talk about it as soon as I can find it. All right. What we're looking at here is my LES from July 1996. 96, right? That was a long time ago. My base pay is $980. 980. That's it. And we were looking at today's pay scale for E2. E2 today at 2 years or less is 2697. But mine was $980. So in July of 1996, I was living in the dorms still, but I had a car with a very reasonable car payment. And it wasn't a flashy car. It wasn't a sports car. It was a car that was 3 years old only. And I had insurance too. I had full coverage insurance. The philosophy with ammo count is make your ammo last between drops. Okay. I had $980 to work with. I had no housing expenses. I had no food expenses. I had no utilities. Living on base, making $980 a month. My car payment and my insurance totaled, oh, almost $300. So I still had $600 to work with after that. A third of my pay went to car and insurance. And I did have internet too while I was living in the dorms, and I was paying for it. I was paying, I think, like $30 a month. Something called Earthlink. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that. One of my philosophies while I was living in the dorms was eat at the dining facility or chow hall or whatever you guys want to call it or whatever you guys do call it today because it was free, right? Free food. Your food's provided. Everything's provided for you guys. Can you find a car today? A good used car that will not cost you an arm and a leg? I think you can. I really do. That was really how I survived. I mean, not just survived, but I thrived, right? And oh, by the way, I had phone service too that I paid for. All those things together made up about 40% of my pay. If you really look, you don't have to spend all of your pay on your car and your car insurance, guys. That's really key. Okay, so again, dollars are bullets. It's your ammo. Don't run out of ammo. I was able to not even use half of my ammo each month. and I was able to save money. Financial responsibility is something that we're expected, guys, we're expected to have financial responsibility. We're taught attention to detail, crazy attention to detail in basic training, but we're not really taught how to manage our money. I want to help everybody do that. So in the next episode, we'll go over budgeting, how I equate budgeting to targeting, right? Stay tuned. Hope to see you again at the next episode of Ammo Count.